Hi there. Going live in just a minute through the other medium too. Hi, it's that time of week again. Super excited. I'm going to be moving through things fairly expediently tonight. Oh, what just happened on Facebook? Whoops. What just happened with Facebook? Sorry guys, hold on just one second. We will try again. We will try again. Okay. Take two. Hello. My biceps are kind of pitiful, actually. I'm a run coach. Sorry. I can show you, but that's it. I don't spend a lot of time developing those. Hi. Okay, now we're live on Facebook too. Thanks for being here. Coach Sarah could not join us tonight, so I'm going to be flying solo and moving through it fairly expediently if I can, for no other reason that it's a friend's birthday and I do not intend to miss it. Yay! Shoot, why does Facebook keep failing on me? Sincere apologies, guys, on Twitch. I wish everyone would use Twitch. That's what I tell them to do. Bigger than your arms? Oh, you just made my day. Thank you. That's a huge compliment that made me feel a whole lot better. My arms are not something I spend a lot of time developing, so any compliments are always welcome. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Sarah could not join us tonight, so I'm going to be flying solo and move. It looks like I am live, so oops, I'm going to turn that off. I just can't see what's going on Facebook right now. Sorry, my computer's being itself, but frankly, I probably haven't restarted it in about a month, so my husband would say that's my fault. So I can see questions on Twitch though, so if you're watching via Facebook and you think that your question might require follow-up and you have Twitch available to you, you already have an account, I strongly recommend you get over there and do that because I can't watch the live stream without sound, and you know what, this is not a professional studio. I'm a run coach based in Denver, Colorado, doing the best I can, hoping we can finish this before my kids come running up the stairs saying, "Mommy!" and get their dirty little hands all over the dress I would like to wear to my dinner tonight. So, with that in mind, moving on to Ask Away with Coach MK. So, before I get into the questions, and the first segment of this, I'll be addressing the questions from the Maintain program over in Fitness Protection. This is that once a week segment where I get to answer all the burning questions that are in the hearts and minds of my runners. And sometimes we're talking about the running, but sometimes we're not. And I love how people will figure that out about 10 seconds into me answering their question. So once again, I can't see follow-up comments, so Hello. Okay, it does look okay on Facebook. Thank you very much, Suze. I appreciate that. We're just going to roll with it and do the best we can. Susan, if you see anything on Facebook that needs immediate attention, if you wouldn't mind copying and pasting it over here, I'm glad it's broadcasting there, but like I said, I just can't see it. So 2 things to know. Number 1, Maintain is live. It is open, and it's a $30 per month auto renewal subscription service. With that, you get this once a week, hosted either by me or Coach Sarah. Usually both of us when that's possible. You get the daily motivation thread in Facebook. That's very nice. If you don't use Facebook, that's okay. It's just something that's nice and extra that is there for you if you want to use it. But really, as far as we're concerned, where the real value comes, you get the plan, you get a download code in the membership area of your site once a month, and we get a brand new plan every month too. Yay, you! Which makes it easier to keep going in between training cycles. With Maintain, all we need to do is make sure that we're not losing the fitness that we built in previous training cycles, or that we're making sure that we have the maximum amount of options available to us at any given moment. What tends to happen is people run a race and they're like, I'm going to maintain, and they make a plan, and then that plan goes to hell, and they do not know how to get back on board or where to go. So just being able to come in once a week and be like, hello, coach, what do I do? That's worth $30 to a whole lot of people, and that's where I was going with that price point when I decided where to set the monthly price. That plus, back once upon a time, my husband and I went to very expensive graduate schools and came out with a whole lot of debt and never had, and thought we'd pay it off before we had kids, but it did not happen that way. So with $5,000 of student loans between 2 of us on one income and a baby on the way, money was super tight, and it would remain tight for the next 5 years. And I remember I talk about this on the website, and I'll wrap this up real quick. That $30 number is significant. If you want to go, not why, go look on the website. I talk about the first time I went to go speak to a coach to get myself fit again, to train for the New York City Marathon, and he told me that I needed to hire a personal trainer. That's not what running coaches do. And now that I've been in the industry for a while, I see that. I get that. And I thoroughly reject that notion. Jogging took me from middle of nowhere, Tennessee at 6 years old to a confident freshman in Georgetown that wasn't scared of food or my body or worried about, gaining the freshman 15 because I had my shit on lockdown. I'm also walked through this world fairly fearlessly. That wasn't always a good thing in my 20s, but my dad had a heart attack when I was 6 years old, and I started jogging with him as part of his cardio rehab because I am and have always been an early riser and annoying as fuck. So my mother would send me out the door with him. This turned into a habit that has benefited both of us, if you don't mind being around either of us, because 35 years after that event, he is still alive and kicking, mostly ass in court. He's an attorney, a very ferocious litigator, and I'm just ferocious in general, but all I do is jog. When it comes to competitiveness and ego, I get my jollies all kinds of places, but never through running. This has never been my competitive outlet, so I have a very different and distinct view on what I do and the recommendations on how I would, if you really want to be in this for the long haul, if this is something that you want to do for fitness, if this is something you want to do for fun, if this is something that you want to feel accomplished and feel good, it is hard to do, man, because there's a lot of toxicity in the running community, and they're totally unaware of it. Like, they're just, people don't mean to be buttheads, but they hold themselves to such unrealistic standards, and it's rare that someone like me will come along and be like, hey, just maybe we're all looking at this incorrectly. Let's try again. So I'm here to grab all those people and say, hey, you know what? Let's try again, because I do 2 marathons a year. I've been running for 35 years, and I do not consider myself to be an athlete. And that's not an insecurity thing. I think athletes are competitive. I'm not competitive in my running. Therefore, I don't see myself as an athlete, and that's okay. So if you don't see yourself as an athlete either, if running doesn't sound fun to you, then you've probably been doing it the way everyone else does. I would encourage you to come, give a chance, try it out with me. Might turn everything you think you know on your head. Before I get started, I want to give a big shout out, whoop whoop, to Julie Patno-Winkler, who set a gigantic 25-minute PR in her marathon today. Who does that? My people do that. Thank you very much. My unicorns especially. She is training for 50 miles. Hashtag happy birthday, dear Susan, coming up a few weeks from now at 3 Days at the Fair, a big event in New Jersey. If you happen to be nearby and want to come cheer us on, check out the Facebook events, or look at Ultra Run sign up, and come out and join us if you want to. It's going to be a real good time. No, I'm going to be attending my 10-year grad school reunion, and then driving up with Coach Sarah, and we should get there before the sun sets on the first day. Very excited about that. Next thing I want to talk about is Maintain is open and to the public, and Rebuild, if you have reached out to me like hoping to join the beta, I'm going to respond to you. The link was supposed to be live yesterday, and we had a technical difficulty. So we are going to be trying again. Phil is working on it right now, and as soon as I have that confirmed and live, I will be sending out an email to everyone in my contact list. First, I'm going to reach out to all the people that have emailed me directly, and then with the link and being like, here you go, here you're in, and then I'll be emailing it the rest of the free world, because I think we're pretty much ready to go with it. I'm super excited. I really hope you are too. Rebuild was designed for me, basically. If you are new to this, I've been running for a very long time, and I have 4 children. And my 4th pregnancy threw me for a fucking loop. It was terrible. The baby's wonderful. The pregnancy, not so much. I spent most of that pregnancy in bed, vomiting for no good reason, and gained a whole lot of weight on medicine that was supposed to keep me from vomiting, and failed. So to that effect, I busted and broken a year later after that baby was born. I had to get out and start pulling this body back together, and could not find a good program to help me do it. Everything is easy when you're already fit. Everything is easy if you have a lot of money to throw at the fitness leisure question. I didn't, and I don't, and I was not about to join the Couch to 5K group. No disrespect whatsoever to Couch to 5K. Those programs are terrific. But as someone with a whole lot of experience, Couch to 5K suggests newcomer to me. And I don't want to be in a room full of newcomers with all my knowledge, because I would be taking over that classroom. I would probably be answering questions differently. I would be that annoying person that doesn't belong there, trying to tell everybody else what to do, forgetting that I'm not the coach of that group. So I opted out completely and decided to build my own thing, Rebuild. Rebuild was designed for people who have been inactive for 6 months or longer. If you just haven't been on the horse, or doing exactly what you thought needed to be done as per the plan you purchased from me previously, and you just finished a race, you probably do not belong in Rebuild. You don't need a new plan, you need a new perspective, and I hope to give a couple of people that new perspective tonight as we move through the questions. Go Julie, she is amazing. To be a beta tester for Rebuild, there are no real prerequisites. All I ask is that you're not new to fitness in general, because this program, Rebuild, is a deceptive name. It's actually 2 programs, Build and Rebuild. We're going to beta test Rebuild first, and it'll be a fairly elegant beta test because we worked all the big kinks in Maintain, except for the live registration link, which is being worked out now. So Rebuild, I think, is going to be a fairly smoothly oiled machine, and I'm very excited to get that started. But the only requisite is that you have some modicum of experience either with training or fitness. If this whole thing is brand new to you, you're going to need a different level of support and a totally different plan. So I ask you to wait. Go to www.fitnessprotection.com and get on our mailing list. We will let you know when the beta for Build opens. If that does not work out, email me at info@coachedandloved.com, because I'm told that the splash page that lets you sign up for updates does not work so well on mobile browsers. That's okay. Email info@coachedandloved.com. Tell me to put you on the mailing list, and I will do that. You won't miss a thing. But so that's really the difference between Build for brand new people that are brand new to fitness, Rebuild for people who are coming back after an extended period away. Don't care what the reason was. Don't need to know. You don't have to defend yourself. All I care about is that you have some muscle memory that we can leverage. This is a habit you've had before, and we're just going to tap right back into those memory stores, reach back into the corners of your brain and your history, and use that for the common good. Because you know what? If you were to go to a Couch 5K right now and be treated with all the beginners, it's almost disrespectful to the amount of, to the number of times that you've done this in the past. And I'm over that. Hopefully you are too. If this sounds good for you, come join us in Rebuild. Finally, Maintain. The only real requisite for Maintain is that you can run. You think you can, even if you haven't in a while. You think you could run continuously for 90 minutes, 90 minutes, and the idea of running for 2 hours continuously without stopping doesn't scare you. If you've been like someone asked me last week, my longest long run has been 75 minutes. Am I okay for Maintain, or do I need Rebuild? I'm like, Maintain. You're good. No, you don't need Rebuild to get you from like 75 to 90 minutes. It's going to be okay. We'll walk you through it and Maintain. I like to think of my programs as guided DIY. I give you a plan. There is no expectation that you're going to follow that plan to the letter because I'm a realist, right? We're not professional athletes. We are amazing. We are bosses. We are masters of our own domain. I got 4 kids, a husband that travels, all these clients, and shit to do. Sometimes runs don't happen the way that we expect. This morning I did my long run. Usually do them on Saturdays because I had a sick baby on Saturday morning and I had to mom with both hands. Doesn't make me lesser. Doesn't make me less than. Does not mean I fell off the wagon. I went this morning and it got done just fine. When that happens in a training plan, we tend to panic because we only have 16, 20, or 24 weeks, whatever, to get ready for a race. When we stay in training mode and all we have to do is go into beast mode for a short period of time, it is easier to adopt this lifestyle and get what you want out of it. When you have a training plan and a ticking clock and weeks going off the calendar, yes, it's a little exciting, but it's also mind-boggling and a little nerve-wracking, and I don't need more pressure in my life. I don't know about you. Trying to get out and carve a little time for myself every day where I don't have to answer to everyone's needs or emails or phone calls or texts, and I can just be me and listen to a podcast. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to run for an hour every day. May I run 6, please? You're welcome. So that is what I aim to do. Give you maximum you time, maximize your cardiovascular fitness for lifelong health. Because you only got one body to navigate this world in. I hope you never have to learn that the hard way, just like my family did. Thank you. I love my perspective too, and I hope you enjoy it going forward. I watch people beat themselves up unnecessarily all the time. You got one set of knees. Yes, we can replace them, but it'll never be the same, and neither will you. I want to keep this body moving forward any way you want to go for the longest period possible, and I never want you to feel bad about what you've done. It is easy to cross the finish line and feel like and say that wasn't fast enough. After all that work, I deserve better. And instead of looking at all the work you've done, you look at that one day and you say that wasn't fair. I have a totally different way of looking at it. I say, hey, we knew what was possible. We knew, say, a 4-hour marathon was possible today. It didn't happen, but that will be my baseline then next time I start training, and that is worth something. And that looking forward is what keeps me going and has kept me in this for a long time. I don't waste a lot of time crying in the bathroom about my latest race time, and I know too many people do. You are not less than. You never have been. You never ever were. And if you're not an athlete, I am truly sorry that you never had a coach that was truly invested in your development the way that I will be every step of the way. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You have no idea what you're capable of, and I can't wait to show you what's in there. Now, moving on to the questions. Coach MK, how long should you be on the maintain plan before you could realistically YOLO a half? 2 months. You could YOLO a half. And YOLO, by the way, if you're like new, that's something the kids say. I'm 41 years young. I don't text so many children. I actually don't. Sorry, no one call CPS. I do not text with children, especially my own. They don't have a phone. And I don't take clients under the age of 18. FYI. So, to that effect, what we're really trying to do and maintain is keep the most important aspect is the long run. That's usually the first thing to go when people go into like whatever they think of as maintenance mode, because it's long and it's hard and it's summer, and why would you want that? Well, you know what? It's going to be a whole lot harder if you like decide you want to join your friends training for a marathon in the fall. If you come August, if you haven't been doing at least long runs that are at least 95 minutes long. So, in maintain, we hit the ground running. I can help you get up to 90 minutes very quickly if you're like, I've been running, but I haven't been doing that. Great. I've got a plan. I can help you alter that and move back in, but we got to get up that curve real quick, y'all. So, once we get there, then that takes a full 2 months. And 2 months is what I say for the person that's like, I run 30 minutes, 2 days a week, and then sometimes I do CrossFit with my friends. Okay, I haven't done it in a long time, but I go when they ask, and I do Orange Theory with my husband when he's in town. Okay, I haven't done it in a while, but I mean to a lot. And that's okay. That's the aspirational number of working out 4 days a week. You, like, that's cool. I will put you in maintain, and it's going to be fine. Inactivity is what I'm concerned with. Coming back from inactivity in rebuilding the habit, waking your muscles back up, getting back a whole lot of different things in one go. If you already have some of those elements, I can work with it and maintain. And if you have those elements, and a modicum of discipline, shoot, we can get you ready to YOLO. YOLO just means show up, do it, cover the distance, and feel good about the fact that you didn't really train, but you covered the distance. We can do that in 8 weeks, 2 months. If you really want to do well, if you're coming to me for like capital P performance in a half, the half plans are not out yet. They should be next month. And by out, it's 6 weeks. 6 weeks for a half, 10 for a full. And that's for not like capital P performance. There are a lot of caveats around that number, but if you've been into preferably 3 months, then a 6-week plan to ramp up for a half is really all you need. Because remember, we don't need a huge long ramp up if we've been maintaining in between cycles. Here you go. I love being here, but I feel like I'm in the wrong group. I've already answered that question, but I'll answer it again. I won't be able to do the mileage in May for maintain. There is no mileage in May for maintain. In case you were looking at maintain and you're in there already and you're worried. There is no mileage requirement. There is no pace requirement. There is no speed requirement. And there never will be. I hate that groups segregate on the basis of pace. I hate it. You are not lesser or different, and to otherize yourself for being bigger or slower or in any way, F that. Not here. Not today. Not ever. If that's what you took away, you looked at it incorrectly. I love the person that wrote this. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying there is no mileage requirement for May and maintain. And I want to make sure you remember that. I wonder if I should be in rebuild or runner interrupted. No. You aren't broken, so you don't belong in runner interrupted. And you just ran a marathon, so we got nothing to rebuild. You built. What we need to do is recover from that really hard marathon that you ran in a city called Boston. You're good. You're not better than good. You're great. And you always have been. Here's that. I need a while to get back to consistent training after this marathon recovery. Ain't no pressure. This is guided DIY. You do what you need to do. And if you have questions, you ask me how to modify during the week. Your BATNA, your best alternative to doing exactly what's written on the plan, is a 30 to 60 minute easy effort run with your heart rate under 140. I call the new workout that I'm rolling out, it's not really that new, it's changing form. I call it Avocado Toast. It's bland, it's boring, it gets the job done. You probably won't want to Instagram it and share it with your friends, but people do, and that's cool too. I can't tell, there's something going on with my phone. I swear Big Brother is happening, because now that I've talked about Avocado Toast multiple times in streams and written these plans, all Instagram shows me, fucking goddamn Avocado Toast pictures. It's all anyone could bring me when I was pregnant. I brought you avocado toast. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. But no offense to avocados or avocado toast. It's just, it became such a thing that I laugh about it, and now it's all Instagram wants to show me. So I'm regretting this, naming this workout after that already. But I digress. Avocado toast is 30 to 60 minutes of steady, easy effort running, no breaks. Try not to walk. I'd rather you slow down and shuffle than stopped and walked during avocado toast. And then at the end, you get 6 sets of accelerators. Those are 20-40, 20 seconds of accelerator where you start off at a jog, ramp up to 5K pace, hold on to that for about 2 seconds, and decelerate. And that slow deceleration back down to a jog is the most important part of it. This is neuromuscular stimulation that leads to speed. This is how you wake your muscles back up. If you do it as a sprint, you are not getting what you need out of that workout. You're just banging out, you're just yelling at your central nervous system. I yelled at my kids the other day, and they didn't hear anything I said because I was yelling so loud and it scared them so much. And effectively, and I'm a little ashamed of it, yeah, but they weren't listening. When you do that to your muscles when you sprint instead of accelerate. So going faster and harder than I tell you to go at any given moment is not better. You're not getting more. You're just screaming at your central nervous system. It will shut down. It will not get what we need out of that workout, okay? So my BATNA 20-minute walk. Perfect. That works. I'll take it. Anything is better than nothing. I would rather you got out there and did something really slow, like walking, especially if you live in Texas and it's hot and there are gnats and mosquitoes. Shoot, go for that walk. Walk around your basement if you have to. I don't care what you're doing as long as you're moving. You got to move in order to maintain. Start talking about lobster. Right? I do need to start talking about lobster with butter. Why didn't anyone bring me that when I was in bed and pregnant and miserable? Oh my God, I need new friends. Just kidding. I generally work through, I'm so psyched to be back training with this awesome group again. Everyone is so inspirational. Yay! I know I got great clients, y'all. I'm not going to lie. My question is about the single leg get up from Friday's strength. It was really hard to do on my right leg, but I couldn't do it at all on my left leg. Yay! That means you need to do it. That was very enlightening. I'm trying to think positively. Would modifying this one for now to a single leg squat help build strength and then you do this move? No. I'll tell you why. when people pay me as a coach, as a run coach, what they're paying me for is success. Hey, I've had this modicum of fitness, I'm doing this event, and I need you to close that gap between what I want and what I'm likely to get on my own. Yay! And that thing is always success. And somehow if you don't get what you want on race day, you think I failed or that you failed or that like things didn't work, it wasn't worth it. It's like an asymmetrical like set of expectations that set us both up for failure, and I don't like that. I don't like you being set up for failure, and I sure as hell don't like me being set up for failure. So, yay! We flip that on its head when it comes to strength coaching. Strength is all about reps to failure. And there are a whole bunch of people, if anyone is in this stream right now is not a client of mine and you do lift weights or have lifted weights in the past, shout out. You know I'm right. Martini Monsters, if you're watching right now, I miss you. I need to ping you, girl, and say, hey. But watch, they rep to fail and they do 6 or 8. Right? And if you have not failed after 6 or 8, then you weren't going hard enough. You need more weight on that barbell. Right? So what the takeaway here is, if you can do those one-legged get-ups with ease, guess what? We need a new move. Or you're doing it wrong. If we're sure you're doing it correctly and that knee is not buckling in and you're not leaning forward to get like traction or like momentum to come up, if you're just like standing back and being like, whoop, here I am, cool. That is what you need. If you aren't there yet, that like I'm not on my left leg for sure, just sit there and try to get up over and over and over for 1 minute as prescribed. Just trying to do the motion is going to engage your glutes and wake up that neuromuscular connection, and that is what we want. Because what we're trying to do here is make sure we maintain all the synapses that we got firing during that training cycle, and since we're running less, those synapses have to be reminded on a regular basis. If ever you've gone to a PT and they say your glutes aren't firing, that one-legged get-up is one of the best things you can possibly do to get them firing consistently and regularly once more. So no, I don't need you to succeed. And that's crappy, I know it, but if we're going to succeed in the long run, we got to find strength hard enough that we're failing while doing it continuously over the course of a minute. Sorry. I generally work Thursday and Friday, 12.5-hour shifts. Ugh, bless your heart. You must be a nurse. I did my self-care hour on Thursday easily by stretching after my shift. It was nice. I was planning on getting my run in after work on Friday. I usually get done at 7:30 p.m. My shift went long and it turned into a 14-hour shift. Ugh. I just bless you for your service, and thank you for your service, by the way. I just couldn't get my run in, so I bumped my Friday run to Saturday and my Saturday to Sunday. Will this work in the future? Yeah, of course it will. Way to go, by the way. I would have slept for a week if I'd worked a 14-hour shift. Ugh. And I say this lovingly. I love my kids. I love my job. But a 14-hour shift is a lot of time to have to be on, especially if you're in a medical environment making decisions or having to relay information to a doctor. Dealing with doctors can be really tricky. I'm friends with some people that are married to doctors. I don't like hanging out with their husbands. But that's how I feel about that. So congratulations on thriving in a really crappy situation and getting your work done. And yeah, you can always move things around. We are not in a capital P performance training cycle. There's no pressure on. You can totally swap runs around as you need to. The only rule of thumb generally needs to be and remain, we don't do 2 hard workouts back to back because it's too hard on your body. So try not, if you find, generally speaking, in my plans, you have Monday and Wednesday are the hard effort runs. And Saturday is the longest run of the week. So if you find yourself moving your Saturday run to Sunday, you could be doing your long run back to back with a hard effort run. And that is the situation I would avoid, because you're going to be hella tired on Tuesday, and we're not going to get the full benefits from the harder effort on Monday if we're coming into it tired. So my recommendation is listen to your body and do what you think makes sense. If you wake up and say, yeah, I could do that workout, go do it. If you wake up and say, I still don't think I should, plus I just worked another 14-hour shift, your BATNA is always a 30 to 60 minute easy effort run with 6 accelerators at the end. You got that 20-second acceleration followed with from a jog to 5K pace back down to a jog, followed by 40 seconds of active recovery. That means keep moving forward at a super slow shuffle, then repeat, then repeat, then repeat, then repeat, then repeat over and over, and you're done. That's avocado toast. Avocado toast is what you come back to when you got nothing else in your house. Works as a breakfast and it works as a workout. That's what you do. When you don't know what to do but you want to do something, avocado toast is the way to go. The good news is I only work 2 days a week on Thursday and Friday, so I make up days easily. We don't worry so much about making up days. It's a mindset I prefer to get out of. I would rather, because it just gets easier. When you turn your training into a patchwork quilt, it gets really stressful. I miss this and I need that element. And it's like, no, man, we just maintaining. You will not lose everything we built unless you stop. So all you need to do is be like, okay, so it's Wednesday. Didn't get the run done. I'm gonna call this my day off. Do the Wednesday run on Thursday, and then everything else is written. Or if you're like, you know what, I don't want to think about it, hit the reset button, pick up right where you should be in the plan. Don't look back and don't worry. We don't make up miles and we don't make up workouts ever, ever, ever. It's not what I do. It's not what I recommend. There is no single workout so important that we need to squeeze it back in for what we do at our level. Steph Bruce Rothstein is not at our level. She is a superstar, and if you didn't see, she too won the World Half Marathon Championships in Pittsburgh today and set a gigantic 10-second PR. That's a gigantic PR when you're professional, by the way, of 1 hour, 10 minutes and change. She has to look at her working out very differently than we do. It's what she does for a living. It's not what we do for a living. It's not even what I do for a living. Like, I coach running. I don't perform as a runner. Big difference. So until you're at the point where you're performing as a runner, you're probably not going to be coached by me, and those workouts are going to be way more important. Between now and then, yay, flexibility. Woohoo! I love being mediocre. It means no pressure, more options, and more flexible. I like that. And I'm always going to cheer my heart out for Steph, because I don't want to do her work and I don't want her life. But I love watching her kick ass at hers. I have a 5K coming up on Saturday, May 18th. Should I slack off the plan the week of my race? Shoot ya! Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it really depends on what you want to get out of it. If you want to just show up and bang it, I say do everything is written Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Take Thursday off, take Friday off. And then just go see what you got on Saturday. Race blind. Don't look at a watch. Like, grab someone mentally that you think you can hold on to and just follow them and tell us what happens. I would love to hear it. Because you know what? You know more than you think you do. And it's not about, in a 5K, it's not about holding yourself back as much as it is finding that electric fence where you think your heart's going to beat out of your chest and holding on to that for as long as you can. I don't race 5Ks. I hate them. They hurt. If you really want to do a 5K, I say, you know what? Go do that 5K. Show it who's boss. And then tell us about it. I can't wait. Can you talk about adapting for an upcoming half marathon? Will it be something similar to a 10-week marathon ramp-up? Yes, I can. It's going to be 6 weeks long, and it's already, if you really need it now, if you're doing grandmas, I'm happy to send it to you. If you can wait a little bit, I'd recommend it because it's not real pretty. I'm totally happy to give you the rough draft. The pretty version of it won't be terribly different, but just know it's going to look like a sixth grader did it because word. I'm a former banker, y'all. Excel, I'll make you pivot tables. That'll like make your mind just explode with awesomeness. I love pivot tables. But Word, F it. It's very rudimentary. So if you want rudimentary and you need it now, if you really need it now and you don't mind rudimentary, great. But what I'm aiming for is to have these documents finished, polished, gussied up, and then they will live permanently in the membership area of the website. I'm never going to charge you extra for them. I will eventually be creating little support groups if you happen to be in a capital P performance cycle where you really care. Awesome. We can give you access to a little more coaching and a little more loving briefly during that period if you want it. So those are going to be coming, but they're not here yet. But we're also not huge yet where I need to really worry about how I'm going to manage my time because y'all are great and this is still fun. So yes, they're coming, but if you need it now, I will gladly give it to you sooner. 6 weeks for performance and a half, but frankly, you can go yellow a half whenever you want to. 10 weeks for a full. And if you question that, Google Dathan Ritzenhein. Dathan with a D, Dathan Ritzenhein. I had just finished my 10-week plan, and I've been going back and forth with a couple of my people about this, my business people, and they were all like, 10 for, I'm like, but if you maintain, you only need 10. I mean, the reason we need a base building period is because we assume people haven't really been running with discipline, and we got to get them adapted to a long run again. If they have been running with discipline and we don't need to readapt them for a long run, we can be marathon ready in 10 weeks or less. So Dathan Ritzenheim prepped for Boston in 8 weeks. And the plan that he ran looks a whole lot like ours. So not to say that we need to train like pros, but there are little things that they do that we can absolutely benefit from. And it's not hardcore training year round, but keeping the most important elements of a plan, like the routine and the ritual of the long run and the consistency of the training plan, all year long. As long as you never stop, it makes it that much easier to start again, and we don't have the clock running for as long as we did the previous time, and we can expect better finish times. If that's really what you're after, that's a better recipe for consistency is always going to be your recipe for success. A while ago, I saw a note about a weight loss program up on your whiteboard. Will that be a separate program or a modification for the existing ones? It'll be a separate program. I've been sitting around and thinking of what type of specialized support would people want. Because I want the minimum viable product, which is this run plan with the weekly coaching sessions and the Facebook group, to be something, a subscription that you'll want to keep forever. Because like even if you don't use every single thing every single month, that when the next month comes, that's an opportunity to turn the page and get re-involved. You're never so far away that I can't bring you back. Think of that subscription as a tether. And as long as we're tethered, we're working. And during times when you need a little more support, I really want to give you that support. So I've been, what you saw on the whiteboard was me brainstorming what type of specialized communities we would need. Prepartum, postpartum, masters runners, anyone that wants to otherize themselves, Athena-sized runners, goddess-sized runners. Goddess is a different mentality and a different set of, not complications, but I would need someone specialized to run that community. That's out of my wheelhouse, and I want to make sure that Athenas and goddesses are being given equivalent or better treatment than everyone else around us with all of the special considerations that would require, for example. So yes, there are a lot of communities that are going to be coming out. I think weight loss will be one of them, but that's probably not going to be this summer. I got to get the minimum viable product going. That would be an add-on subscription that just would be hopefully just be a toggle in the website. You can ramp up in the months that you need it and ramp down in the months that you don't. So let's say it's the beginning of the year, you're not training for anything, but you'd like to, January, everybody wants to start losing weight in January, right? So maybe we have a weight loss program that you're in for 3 months, and then you're like, I'm good, I don't need this anymore. And then you go back to, like, you can always come back to this as a minimum viable product that maintain, rebuild the base product. That's always the BATNA. You can always come back here and opt into specialized stuff when you need it and opt out when you don't need it anymore. There's that. So yeah, I'll let you know more when I know more, but right now I got to get these 3 suites of products up and running, and then I will start working on the specialized communities within. I hate speed work and love doing every run easy effort. I did all my old MK training plans this way and just need reassurance it's still okay. Yes! I don't ever need you running faster than easy effort. I give that to you guys because y'all think like you're going to stagnate without it. It's just not true. We can do a lot with easy effort, pickups, surges, and accelerators. And a surge just means like a fartlek. So if you're doing an easy effort run and you want to like race your kid to the next like light pole, do that. Great. You can do that and make it fun. There's no right or wrong unless you're just putting pressure on it and we're trying to prescribe it so specifically that we're taking all the fun out of it. So yeah, you can do everything. You can do everything easy effort forever as far as I'm concerned. But if we think that we might want to up ramp into like a marathon or a performance type plan later, then the long run, just don't cut that down to an Avocado Toast easy run. Try to keep the time blocks minimum 95 minutes as much as possible, whenever possible. But yeah, take out, so when you hear me say like take the hard elements out, and then I say, well, what makes a run hard is making it more intense than easy effort or longer than an hour. Don't go start willy-nilly cutting everything down to an hour, right? Keep the length in your long run, but you can absolutely cut the intensity out of everything else. I don't need you running hard ever. And by the way, that's not speed work. There is no speed work in any of my plans. You don't know what speed work is. It's okay, I love you guys, but y'all really don't know what speed work is. What is the difference between doing pickups at every mile and doing strides in the middle of the run or at the end of the run? Honestly, so one is cardio maximization. When you do the pickups at the end of each mile, one, it breaks up the monotony. I have a lot of people with a wide gap between their easy effort / 140 pace and where they're doing their pickups. And if you're running more slowly than you want to go in any given moment, that is the hardest thing you will ever do. And those pickups are usually relief enough to get someone who's not where they want to be yet through a really long run. And the way I've prescribed it in the past is you may do them every hour for 20 seconds, a 20-second pickup, you may do one at the end of every mile, or every 10 minutes throughout the hour to get you through that hour. And because that's, God knows it's what I did. So they're there for cardio, to maximize your cardiovascular function. One, to push that the ventilatory threshold slightly northward as we go. So there's that. Doing strides in the middle of the run serves the same purpose, but it's that neuromuscular, the strides are more neuromuscular, and they lead to, so that it pulls on your muscle memory. And I always say that's it's where speed comes from. So doing them in the middle of the run makes the back half of the run a little bit easier and a little more effortless, because that neural stimulation is usually enough that you feel like you're flying for the second half. But if you're not fit enough to do them yet, your heart rate will not come back down. I learned this the hard way. I'm still not fit enough to do a stride sandwich the way I want to, which means strides in the middle versus avocado toast where the strides are at the end. I do my strides at the end. So they are demoralizing to me because I can't get I spent a year in bed. I'm not back where I want to be yet. So when I do those strides, I'm then running more slowly during the back half of my stride sandwich, and it hurts my feelings, and I don't like that because I feel like I want to go faster, but I can't. So that's the why and the how. I am completely indifferent between a stride sandwich and avocado toast. One is not better. One is less likely to demoralize you if you aren't there yet. And so if that is the case, go to avocado toast. If you want to try a stride sandwich and you like it, great, and it works out for you, great, keep going. But batten is always avocado, always out of avocado toast will generally work for everyone. Stride sandwiches won't. One is not better, they're just different, but you get the same benefit from both workouts. So there's that. Planning a half marathon early June. Do I switch up my training and maintain? And if so, what do you suggest? For example, increase time in the long run a couple times or taper back the week before. Not a goal race by any means. It'll be fun to see my fitness. Thank you so much. You know what? If you're doing it in early June, depends on how early in June. Yes, you might, and I need a little more information. Email info@coachandlove.com. and give me a little more information about like what kind of long runs you've been doing, because we've only been open for a month, so I don't want to assume that you were doing nothing before you jump back in to maintain, and I don't want to give you an incorrect or non-specific answer. So email me a little more info and we'll talk it out. But generally speaking, our long runs are long enough that you just want to YOLO a half. You can do that at will. If you were doing the monthlies before you came over here, I say just like cut back your taper. Cut like reduce everything, cut everything down to like 30 minutes during race week, and then go see what you got. Why not? That can work. We have a lot of different options, but I need a little bit more information to help tailor this option to you. Or if you want to email, if you want, I can just give you the unfinished, very rough, very ugly looking draft of my of the half marathon training plan that I offered to send somebody else, and I will gladly send that to you, and you can take that and do what you will. But no, there's no real formula we need to follow because most people that are in my programs will run that half marathon in under 3 hours. So if you're not totally new to fitness and you're in maintain and you have something to maintain, and you can run 75 minutes without stopping, you can run 90 minutes without stopping, running 2 hours does not scare you, then shoot, yeah, we can YOLO a half marathon whenever, because you've kept that most important thing you need to do well in the long run, which is the long run. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, that is everything over in maintain. Susan, if you're here, go into my live page. While my computer vomits at me. And I'm adding the stream marker, Susan, for rebuild. Here we go into the rebuild questions. Okay. For those of us that have mostly been walking, is there a certain number of running segments we should aim for, or just go by what feels right? Would assume the latter, but want to get your thoughts. So here's my thoughts on it. It feels like punishment coming back for a while. When you're in a body that feels a little unfamiliar, because your body will change when you haven't been working out at the level that you're used to. When you're doing something familiar in a body that no longer feels familiar and you're not getting the usual results, it's really demoralizing and it's really, really, really hard. I do not care how much you're walking. I do not care how much you're running. What I care about is that you're listening to your body, that you're giving it what it needs, that you're not punishing it or thinking, I will get up the curve faster if I go a little harder, because that's not how bodies work. There is no way to shortcut or hack biological function, and anyone that tells you that there is a way is trying to sell you something. I hate the word hack. I hate shortcuts. Every time I've ever taken a shortcut, I've gotten lost, and it took me more time to get back. And I'm not going to take that risk with my running life, with my fitness, with my health, and with my body. And I hope you won't either. So yes, you do what you need to do to get through that workout. What I give is a suggestion. But if you get out there and you're walking and you hate it, great, jog for a minute. Run for a minute. Don't sprint for a minute. Like trying to sprint, it's not going to get you where you want to be faster. It's just going to have you out of breath, and it's going to be really hard to control your heart rate for the rest of the run. If you really want to sprint and you got that in you, again, it's not better, but if you want to do it, I would do it at the end. Like do your workout, do the cool down, then do your sprint and go huff and puff all the way back to the shower. But yeah, I don't have a problem with the run walk interval plans. My issue is that they make you very dependent in a way that I don't like. And my whole goal here is to make you feel as free as possible. If I do my job correctly, you won't need a coach anymore. But if I do my job well, you won't want to function without me. And that's really how I look at it. And I mean that. I'll teach you everything I know. It's not very much, but what's mine is yours. Doing what feels right is what you need to do right now. Do what keeps you motivated and going. For me, it was cutting my run into thirds and using a heart rate cap of 155 on that middle portion on Mondays and Wednesdays. And even though there are times that I went way too fast, there was never a day I went so hard I couldn't run the next day. And there was never a day where I was so demoralized and demotivated that I didn't want to run the next day. And that's what I'm aiming for here. And I know we're not doing the work that you want to do yet. And I say that with all the love in my heart and as sensitively as I can. That sucks. I can't make the pain of that go away. But what I can do is work with you to keep your chin up as much as possible and get you out of here as quickly as possible and over into maintain where a lot of people want to be. Or at least where I wanted to be. I was super impatient. I'm still super impatient. I need help. So, sorry, one more thought on that. My problem with the prescribed run walk intervals is that they don't teach you to tune into your body. They teach you to tune into your watch. And I don't want you tuned into the watch. The most advanced thing you can do is really listen to your body, and I want you to become so familiar with its rhythms, with your breathing, with your footfalls, with your feeling at any given point in time. Could I do this for 1 hour? Could I do this for 9? And that you know the difference and you know it right away. You know what an effort level is. You know the difference between 5K effort, 10K effort, half marathon effort, and never again do you go into a race and hit the wall. And everybody does it for the same reason. It doesn't have to do necessarily with run, and sometimes it can do with running out of glycogen, but usually that means that you just didn't execute a very good race plan, or you tried to race beyond your current level of capabilities and it didn't work out. So run walk intervals don't get you closer to being free on race day and tuning into your body and reading the situation really well. And that is what I want you to be able to do. I want you to feel free. I want you to know, I got it in me. I feel good. This is all working. I'm going to swing the bat, and you know when to do that in a race. And you know instinctively what I'm doing right now, there is no way I'm going to be able to hold on to. I've watched so many people go into a situation and crash and burn and then think, then that means I made a mistake. I did something wrong. And that's really hard to come back from mentally. So that we never go out and have a day so bad that we're in a mental hole that we can't get out of in short order to go try again and have another good race if a race is what you want. Because the last thing I want is anyone to have a race day and then turn around and say, well, I guess I'm not a runner. I have no business being here. Because that's a shame. It's not correct. I need help understanding the lanes. Can you talk a little bit about what the lanes are and how we would know which one we should be in? So in Rebuild, I'm giving you guys 2 lanes because we're going to have people coming back from all levels of fitness and from all different types of situations. We might have people that have been out of the game for 10 years, raising special needs twins at home. I know I say that not as a casual example. I've got someone like that I'm talking to at the moment. I think we also might have people like me that have been in bed for a year and have been more sedentary than they wanted to be, maybe for a longer period of time. Some people are going to climb that curve really quickly, others aren't, and there's no way to predict when you walk in who that person's going to be. So that's lane 1 is for people that are like their current fitness level is here, and that's okay. And then when they come in month 2, they're like, maybe I feel a little more aggressive this month. So it gives you a way to sort of upshift when you feel it over time without feeling punished or pushed to go upshift ever, right? So it's a person who has been in Rebuild for 3 or 4 months. is going to have a really good base of fitness. They are. Whether or not they're ready to go to maintain is a question of their mind. So let's say we have someone in rebuild that's in lane 1 for 4 months, and they're like, I don't know if I'm ready. I'll be like, well, here's how we find out. Go do lane 2 for a month, and if you can handle that, then you're absolutely ready for maintain. And that's kind of how I would look at it. It's more like an option to exercise, not a thou shalt. And I say that cautiously. This is the first month of rebuild, and I get that it's a very different way of looking at things. This is guided DIY, but I can't tell you how many people have looked at a Hal Higdon marathon plan and been like beginner, intermediate, advanced, and not realize that that is referring to their current level of fitness. So they'll pick the intermediate plan because they've run a marathon before, not because they're at that intermediate level of fitness. Right? So I kind of want to get rid of that framework for decision making and be like, everyone in rebuild is rebuilding. Everyone in rebuild has experience, but not everyone in rebuild is going to be in the same place at any given point in time. And the only way I can do this month to month without turning this into like as in a subscription mechanism, without having to write out a very formal plan, which would become messy very quickly, not knowing who I'm talking to and what week they're on. I mean, just from an operations standpoint, that stuff's a nightmare, and I want to get as far away from it as humanly possible. Maybe at some point when we have money to invest in real systems, we will. But for now, what if you buy a 6-month plan and it takes you 9 months? I certainly never thought that my rehab would take as long as it did. I was fully expecting to run the New York City Marathon last November. I wasn't ready. I could have done it. Wouldn't have been good. Would not have been what I wanted it to be. It would not have been what I was expecting when I signed up for the New York City Marathon initially. So rather than have you forcing yourself into a situation you're not ready for, I want to give you lanes, and we can switch lanes when you're ready, but without the pressure or the ego saying, hey, you really belong in lane 2, when you know you belong in lane 1. At the same time, I have a lot of people that come to me that belong in maintain, but they're going to opt into rebuild instead because I didn't follow the plan 100%. And I'm like, but you just trained for a marathon. Yeah, but I only did 80% of the runs. And I'm like, you don't need to rebuild. You don't need to recommit. You don't belong here. And they're like, no, I belong here. I didn't do it right. So knowing that we have a lot of perfectionists, because it's a thing, type A personalities and perfectionists tend to gravitate towards distance running on the whole. They like the discipline, they like the structure, but they're adding a lot of pressure to a situation that's already highly pressurized. So knowing that we'd have a lot of people that truly don't really belong in rebuild, I wanted to give them a place to be like, hey, lane 1 isn't enough work. All right, try lane 2. If that's still not enough work, then would you please, pretty please your sugar on top, do what I asked you to do initially and get over here and maintain. Thank you. So that's why we have a lane 1 and lane 2. A different way of looking at the same thing. I want to get away from like paces and mileage and intermediate and advanced and being like, you want to do more? Here's more to do. Okay, you want more than that? Different program. So that's really what it's about. That's part of the whole guided DIY concept. One lane is not better than the other lane. It's just more work, and it's different work and different support and eventually a different program. I hope your little one is feeling better today. Thank you, she is. The 105-degree fever is now under control. Let me move this over. Not sure I'll make the live. That's okay too, but I'm going to try. Can you talk a little about how to handle missed workouts? Should I just move on or try to make it up the next day and shift the rest of the week? My youngest has special needs. I feel you, mine does too. And not my youngest, but one of my kids does. And my husband sometimes works long hours. Feel you, sister, mine travels for work. So there are periods when it's just too much and I end up missing a workout, which snowballs into missing a lot of workouts and feeling like a failure. And here's why that happens. It's because you're trying to make up runs. This is why I say no single run is so important that we need to turn your training plan into a patchwork quilt with a whole lot of stress involved to get that workout done and get you back on track. I would get overwhelmed too if I looked at a training plan the same way you guys do. This is guided DIY. If the run doesn't happen today because reasons, cool. Try again tomorrow with what's written on the plan. Don't look back, don't make up, don't run and don't shift. We keep this as simple as possible. Every day is a new chance. Every day is a new run thread in the private supported Facebook group. Every day is something new. And I want you to be excited for that new day and not stressed about something else you missed that needs to be made up in your got to make it up pile. As a mother of 4 kids, again, one with special needs, I get it. There's already so much pressure. Like, my goal is to eliminate all of that and just keep you moving forward. Never again, I do not want anyone here to feel like I need to make that up, because you don't. Not in rebuild, not in build, not ever. Remember, it's not about doing everything as written. It's about getting what you need and finding the consistency. And once we remove the need or the compulsion to do everything perfectly, then everything gets easier and it gets a whole lot more fun. And I know that's a shift, and I know that's hard. With the special needs kid, there's so much that's prescribed, and you have to do exactly a certain way or nothing works at all. So what we're going to do as much as possible is find a way to, like, cram this and your you time and your true mental health time and your true self-care into your day whenever possible. And on a day when it's not possible, that is not you messing up, freaking up, when you've got nothing to make up, and no apologies needed ever. There's a quote from Caitlyn Jenner's coach that I read in, I think it was the Washington Post when I was a kid. I was a huge fan. She was a really incredible athlete in her day. But her coach had a quote, said something along the lines of, you can only be excellent in one thing at a time. And as a decathlete, Caitlyn had to be excellent at 10 things. And that left no time for anything else. So for most athletes, the whole name of the game is be excellent in your sport, but don't suck. Be good enough everywhere else so that you still have family and kids watching you, and kids that don't want to take care of you when you get old. So all you have to do is not suck anywhere else. And I love that mentality. I can only be excellent at one thing at a time, and no one, including me, should expect me to be excellent in more than one thing at a time. And I'm a damn good mom, and I'm a damn good wife, and I'm a very damn consistent runner. I don't need perfection anywhere. And damn good in 3 areas, I will take that over excellent any day of the week. And if you are being excellent as a mother, I would ask you to, like, kind of think about that. Not to say you're doing it wrong. But if one of those things where you're not quite okay is making time for yourself and taking care of yourself and asking for help, you've got a special needs kid. Let's ask for help. I have more help than I care to admit. If you've seen our Christmas cards, all those excess people in there that are not my husband and not my children, those are our sitters and our housekeeper. And we don't do fancy vacations. It's a very different asset allocation. But we have always made the sacrifices or the trade-offs necessary to find little money for help, or to make humbling choices, to barter for help when we had to. So I don't know your situation. I'm not trying to tell you your life, but I, as a coach and as someone who is invested in your long-term development and your long-term mental health, I would absolutely advise you to make sure that you're not being so excellent over here when damn good would be just as good. And that would also leave you a little more room to be damn good to yourself too. Because you deserve it. And because I love you. That's it, you guys. That's all the questions. You're a coach. You are loved. You're winning at life. And I'm going to go be a damn good friend at a dinner right now. So, and a mediocre mom as I run out the door, kiss the kids, and tell them not to get their little chocolate fingers on my dress. There's that. I will be releasing another mantra tonight. If you DNF'd or DNS'd a race today, I will be talking to you. Sorry I couldn't get it out to you sooner, but we had to go watch Avengers Endgame last night, and that movie hella long by the time I got home, and ranted for 45 minutes at my husband about how, why didn't we see the Scarlet Witch more? And what do you mean, Captain Marvel? I was here for Captain Marvel, and she was only in there for 5 minutes. What is wrong with this world and Hollywood? Like, that is what's wrong. So after yelling at him for a really long time, because he totally had it coming, I didn't have time to make a mantra for everybody else. So that is coming. I have not forgotten you if the person that requested that mantra is watching. And I had a couple of people DNF and DNS. I have a lot to say to you. And if you can't wait till tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure what that mantra is going to be yet, but the theme is going to be along these lines right here. The hardest thing When I say the hardest thing you'll ever do is running more slowly than you want to at any given moment is the hardest thing you'll ever do. And one of the reasons that maxim is true is peer pressure. It's a bitch. It is a bitch. And all of us that are parenting people know that at some point we're going to be parenting teenagers, and peer pressure is going to be a bitch. And how do you raise kids that are going to resist peer pressure? One of the ways you do that is you make a tough choice when it's the right choice. Whether it's calling your parents and saying, hey, people are smoking pot, I'm scared, I want to come home. Whether it's that guy that your daughter is seeing is being a little too handsy and a little too pushy, and she likes him a little too much, or values him liking her a little bit more than she values her autonomy over her own body. Whatever kind of situation you're looking at, they're not going to learn anything unless they are watching you make hard choices too, and they're watching you butt peer pressure. And it is very tempting to run a race you're not ready for through an injury that isn't fully healed because you made a commitment to the race and make it about the race and not about the training. They have watched you be disciplined. Now, if you DNF'd or DNS today and it was the right choice, then what you did was you resisted peer pressure and you opened up an opportunity to have a conversation with your kids about all the things you were going to want them to know. They're going to know that mom is strong and a badass because she made a tough choice and decided to walk away from something that she had committed to because she knew it was the right decision. When everybody else might be pushing her, do it anyway, do it, do it, do it. I've been in places where people showed up and decided they were just going to go for it in a race where they hadn't done any of the training and were goaded on by the people around them, and I thought that was gross and disgusting, and I still fucking do. And I'm like, you are not teaching your kids anything when you do that nonsense. You're teaching them that the game matters more than the practice. That's fucked up. That's the opposite of what we're supposed to want when we put our kids into sports in the first place. So what you're doing is you're demonstrating this is how you get over your ego and you do something that's hard to do, and you buck all the peer pressure of everyone around you. The worst they can do is call you a pussy. Then you're probably making the right choice. And I'm here to make that choice a little bit easier by reminding you that your coach is proud in those moments when you buck the trend, just like your kids are proud of you somewhere inside, and you'll be proud of them when they turn around and do it too. And they're going to do that not because you trained, but because you declined to destroy your body on a day when you knew it would have been a good idea. Would not have been a good idea. So that's the gist of what you're going to hear later. If you listen to my podcast, it's called The Morning Mantra with Coach MK. It's available on iTunes, Overcast, Podbean, anywhere that Stitcher and Spotify, anywhere where podcasts are found. You can find me if you go look for it. Coach Sarah, yay, how good is she, by the way? Like, really good. Transcripts from our podcast will be going up on the blog. We're not as consistent as we like to be yet. We kind of busy, but hers are amazing. And Coach Sarah podcasts for me every Tuesday and Friday, and that's going to be our new rhythm going forward. But stay tuned tomorrow if you want to hear a mantra to help you get pumped up for this decision and this conversation that you're going to have with your kids about why mom decided not to do this thing that she had committed to do. And by the way, it was the right choice, and I know it was the tough choice, and I'm really proud of that. So, all of you are coached and loved. Let's go win at Sunday night. Yeehaw!